Hey, what up, Long Beach? Let's start the show. Your weekly 5-minute rundown of all the local sports stories.
The show is brought to you by the Long Beach Post as well as the 560.org. He's JJ, I'm Mike, and 'tis the season for holiday hoops battles.
That's right. The high school boys basketball tournament at St. John Bosco High School has turned into the elite tournament here in the local area, and Long Beach has two of the best teams in the bracket.
Oh, it's going to be the battle for Long Beach Friday night, 8:30 p.m. in the semifinal round of that Bosco Winter Classic. The Jackrabbits and Saints, the clear-cut two best teams in the city, two Division I programs, are going to be going head-to-head. This is a matchup everyone's kind of been hoping would happen in a tournament the last few years, and finally we get the big showdown between the two top dogs in the city. I couldn't be more excited. I know everyone in the gym, after they both won their quarterfinal games, was fired up. Everyone was walking around clapping, doing a little bit of barking, just kind of ready to go. It kind of has that like WWE feel, like this is what everyone wanted. We finally get this battle, and I can't wait to see what happens.
If you're talking X's and O's, you're talking about the battle between Peyton Watson and the St. Anthony defense. Peyton Watson, the best player in Long Beach. The junior has been doing a little bit of everything for the Jackrabbits so far this season, and the St. Anthony Saints defense is maybe their best defense they've ever had under head coach Alan Cavanis. They gave up 3 points in the third quarter of their first game of this tournament.
Yeah, there's no question to me they're the best defense that Cav has had over at St. Anthony, and they will be putting all of their attention on Peyton Watson, and why wouldn't you? Paulie's 4-2. He has scored over 25 points in all 4 of their wins, and he has scored under 25 points in both of their losses. He is absolutely the key to stopping that team. They do have complementary pieces around him, just like St. Anthony is kind of filled with complementary scoring pieces like Jadon Jones, Jordan Boykins. They've got a lot of guys that could score 10 to 20 points a game. Paulie's got a dude they need to score 30 and then complementary pieces around him.
I've never seen a player like Gabe Cummings play for Long Beach Poly. He looks and plays like a guy you would see coming off the bench for your favorite NCAA tournament basketball team. But Gabe Cummings can shoot the 3. He can get out there and be disruptive on defense. And you're right, he's got to be the type of guy who can be open on the perimeter, because Peyton Watson's going to get what he wants to get into the key. He just needs guys to kick it out to who can knock down those threes.
Right, and the other guards like Anthony Robinson and Christian Watson, Peyton's little brother, are going to need some driving baskets. They're going to need to get some steals and get out and score in transition, because if this is a half-court versus half-court game, the length and activity of St. Anthony, I already mentioned Boykins and Jones, but also Elijah Price inside is a tough matchup for the Jackrabbits, a really good post presence. They will stress Poly in a lot of different ways, offensively and defensively.
Well, offensively, they sometimes have trouble get going. That was the case in their first game against Hesperia. They were actually trailing at halftime in that game, and their defense helped them win in the second half. But the way their offense got going was Mekhi Williams. The guard is very important for this St. Anthony teams, because he was the one who was scoring a little bit to make sure they weren't scoring 0 in that game. And at the guard position, he's going to be key to be getting some of their other scorers going when the defense kind of grinds games down.
From the hard court to the turf, let's talk about soccer, JJ. We've got some big matchups.
Well, we've had some big matchups. We're going to have some more. But the biggest storyline for local soccer this year is the fact that all of these games are being played at night. People getting new stadiums, new turf, new lights means they move the games back so more parents can come to the games. That's great. But for example, at Wilson, you know about that marine layer fog. It comes in and it sits down on those fields. It's making more league soccer colder, more unpredictable, and much more difficult to film. Do you know how difficult it is to catch focus in the fog when you're actually shivering on the sideline, Mike? It's real tough.
Well, that's what you get for caring about the quality of your video, JJ.
It changes the style of the game, too. Take a look at this play last week between Wilson and Lakewood. Emma Schiffer to Sam Thompson. You could not make this play on a bumpy, muddy, soggy pitch. But because it's on field turf, the speed of this Wilson Bruins team can shine. They don't want to change their game, but they're going to have to when they take on Milliken on a sloppy, bumpy field this week.
A lot of great winter teams to cover, but come back the next couple of weeks. We're going to break down our top stories of the year. The next week, we're going to break down our top stories of the decade, and then we're going to give you the top stories we're looking ahead to in 2020.